Okay, 5 mistakes UK directors are making when they are closing their limited companies. Chris Worden, director first. So at the moment, we're in February 2024. It's an absolute bloodbath out there. The UK economy is now officially in recession. There are more insolvencies happening per month than, for many years. So there's lots of you, certainly if you're watching this channel, you're considering liquidation or insolvency. So these are some of the mistakes that you guys are making when you're putting a business into liquidation. And the first one is you've took too much money on your bounce back loan. That's going to bite you on the arse in an insolvency scenario. Now remember, when the bounce back loans come out in 2020, you was allowed to apply for 25% of 2019's turnover. If you turned over 100, you was allowed to take 25. If you was incorporated after 2019, you was allowed to estimate your turnover. But if you've took too much on your bounce back loan, that's going to cause you an issue in insolvency. The second biggest problem that people are making at the moment is they've taken a bounce back loan when they shouldn't have taken one. You might have had a dormant company. Now, if that's the case, that is going to cause you an issue in an insolvency scenario. The insolvency practitioner has got to report it to the insolvency service. Highly likely you're going to be disqualified from being a director. You may be made personally liable for that bounce back loan that you shouldn't have taken. Third mistake people make is they spend every penny in the bank. Like literally they know they're going insolvent, and they call the insolvency practitioner when there's £5.23 in the account. Really, the minute you become insolvent, you've got to take professional advice. And just so you understand what insolvency means, it's the time you can't pay your debts when they fall due, when your liabilities are more than your assets, or one of your creditors has taken legal action against you. So if you are looking at insolvency, don't be one of those people who makes the inquiry when they've got no money left. Try and preserve a little bit of money in there for your liquidation fees and maybe even a dividend to creditors. Number 4, the director puts a business into liquidation and they have an overdrawn director's loan account. Now listen, if you've got an overdrawn director's loan account, there's no magic wand to get it to disappear. I think the mistake I really should be saying is people go into liquidations without understanding overdrawn director's loan accounts, what the possible consequences are or what the possible solutions are. Now if you've got an overdrawn director's loan account, what it means is you owe the company money. It sits on the balance sheet as an asset, and in insolvency, an insolvency practitioner has got to come to you and try and recover that overdrawn director's loan account. But in most cases, an insolvency practitioner has the discretion to do a deal with you, the director, where you pay a percentage of the loan back and you may get terms to pay it. And I say before, if you've got £1 million property with no mortgage, got loads of cash in the bank, the deal that you would get done will not be as good as the person who has got a mortgage and married and very little disposable income. If you're in rented accommodation with very little realisable assets, the likelihood is your director's loan account could almost be getting written off. But if you're going into liquidation, you must figure this out. Understand what your director's loan account sits at. Check your Xero, your QuickBooks. It'll be on your balance sheet. Ask your accountant. Don't be signing liquidation papers until you've had this dealt with. Listen, finally, the biggest mistake people are making when they go into insolvency is they wait too long to take advice. Like literally, the minute you stop being able to pay people on time, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, there's too much month at the end of your money, that's the time to seek professional advice. Because the earlier you seek advice, the more options that you've got available. I get people ringing me up when they've got a winding up petition on the doorstep, and sadly, that is difficult to deal with. It's more costs. It's aggravation that you don't need. So the minute you become insolvent, take advice. My name's Chris Worden, I'm from Director First.